RTAC is able to embed data, embed reports inside of the email body. And here's an example of one report which was embedded in 3 different ways in an email. The first is a regular table, then an image, and the last is an HTML. There are multiple options. You can generate also dashboards, pivot tables, etc. But I'm going to show you how to generate these 3 sets of data. So the first thing is I'm going to run the report, and this is how the report looks like. I'm going to create advanced HTML export, clicking table and modifying the layout. So I don't want the last name and the record number, and then I'm going to save this as a new layout. Now let's edit the report and set the exports. So the first export will be a regular HTML. The name of the file doesn't matter because the report will be saved, and actually I can delete the file at the end because I don't need it. It will be sent as part of the email and then deleted. The second export will be image. Again, delete at the end. And the third export will be advanced HTML. So I'm selecting HTML3, and then command and export type will be not crystal reports anymore. I'm going to use RTAC table, and I'm going to use the data layout which I just created. Now once these 3 files are exported, I'm going to add them to an email, and I can attach them, of course, they'll be available, but my goal is to embed them, so I'm going to put my message, then first will be advanced HTML, and I'm going to references and insert file, and I'm going to insert advanced HTML, then image, the same, and then the HTML file. So no special formatting, everything is just with mouse clicks. Save the file and run the report. Now when I open the Outlook and download the export, here's what was exported. Very similar to the previous one. Table from the advanced HTML, image, and regular HTML. As you can see, regular HTML is not the best export. That's why we provide the other 2 options. Image may have some issues too. If you have multiple pages, the file may be too big and as a size, and also as a file size and as image size. And table is not exactly the report, it's just the data which is behind the report. Even the table will be too big if you have like 200 records, for example. In this scenario, you may create a separate layout. For example, this amount of data will be too big to export it as an embed, and this amount of data is so much because I didn't filter the report. I'm running it for all the customers. When I run it for one customer, it's okay. So let me create a new layout, and this time it will be a pivot table. And the pivot table provides summarized data, so the number of records will be significantly lower. I'm going to use contact name and amount. So these are the records. I'm going to save this as a pivoted. And save the file. Then I'm going to disable the exports I just created. And I'm going to create a new one which will be pivoted. Again, HTML3, our tag table, and the pivoted will be available here. I'm going to create a new email. Oh, actually, I'm going to change the existing one. So now if I run the report with all customers, the data will be much more, but because of the pivot table, it will be still exported as a relatively small file. Now imagine if the details were here, it's going to be huge. So that's all. As I mentioned, there are other options. You have the option to create dashboards, for example, based on this data, and the dashboard could be exported in a very similar way.